Hello, it's Steve Mills here. Welcome to this short presentation that we're going to be running. And I'm really pleased to have a guest here today on my Results Mastery presentation, Scott Aaron. So welcome, Scott. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit more about you and what you're about? That would be fantastic if you would, please.
Yep, absolutely. And again, grateful to be here and excited for the opportunity to have a great conversation today. So as Steve mentioned, my name is Scott Aaron. I grew up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I now reside just across the bridge in Marlton, New Jersey. So about 35 minutes outside of Philadelphia on the Jersey side. I have a lovely wife, amazing wife and business partner, Nancy, an incredible little boy, going to be 11 soon at the time that we're recording this, Taylor, and 4 dogs. So we got 4 dogs. They're all the 4 of them equate to 1 large dog. They're all under 20 pounds. So
okay.
Yeah, we have 2 chocolate mini schnauzers, a dachshund mix, and a beagle mix. So we got a lot of running around here. And I jokingly tell people I've been psychologically unemployable from day one. So I had some odds and ends jobs when I was growing up as a teenager, but actually got into entrepreneurship when I was 19.
Right.
It actually stemmed from my father making some bad business decisions. He ended up getting caught up in an insurance fraud case and ended up spending 2.5 years in federal prison.
Wow.
And at the time, in between getting convicted to being sentenced and going away, there was about a 9-month period. So he ended up buying and taking over a failing fitness club in downtown Philadelphia, which the keys were turned over to me. Coincidentally, I was at university and got caught up in the social scene of university and ended up being asked to leave after 3 semesters because the grades were just not cutting it. So I continued my education, not just in helping to take over our family business, but I did re-enroll at a local college in downtown Philadelphia, still ended up graduating with a bachelor's in HR after 5 years.
Right.
But I would say more importantly, I learned that one of my, I would say that the 2 biggest superpowers that I have that I can attribute to those experiences, number 1, resiliency, and number 2, human connection. I love connecting with people. I love solving problems. And, that's going back to 1998. We fast forward 25 years later. I'm still coaching and consulting. I'm not doing fitness training anymore. That stopped in about 2016, because in 2013, I started doing more business consulting, leveraging LinkedIn. And I got results myself. And it's only natural when you start getting results for something that is working for you, you take it to the masses. And, my wife and I joined forces in 2017. And we launched our company, The Time to Grow, and we've grown and scaled it. We work 3 days a week, and we love the life that we're continuing to create. But more importantly, we love helping people, and it's helping people grow and scale a business, grow small and mighty businesses, high profit, low overhead, time freedom, monetary freedom, so they can do more with what they have for more people. And, we both have podcasts, we both have written books, and we just love serving people the best way that we can.
That's brilliant. Thanks very much for that. And it's really interesting, people's backgrounds are so varied, aren't they? I think there's a perception, certainly in this country, that you go to school and you work hard and you get A levels, then you go to university, then you get a job, and then you become more successful and you move up that ladder. But that doesn't have to be the way, does it? For some people it is. It wasn't for me. My background was I left school with virtually no qualifications because I wanted to be a full-time professional table tennis player, and that I managed to do. And I got to be about 28, and my dad said, "What are you going to do then?" Because I was thinking of retiring. He said, "You'll never get a job, Steve." He said, "You're 28 years old, you've no qualifications, you've not even ever had a proper job," and it was interesting, let's just put it that way. And but yeah, like you, I've been doing this for quite some time now. So I know we both share a lot of passion about the use of LinkedIn. So I thought we'd maybe, kick off talking about that and how we're using it, what we're doing, and maybe trying to find, a few tips and ideas for people.
Absolutely.
Because I think that's, definitely something that, both of us, are successful at. And so yeah, so what are your take on LinkedIn generally, and what people are doing, and to be honest, I think what people are not doing is a real big one right now. I get all, I don't know about you, but I get all the time, oh, I'm on LinkedIn but I don't have time, or I'm on LinkedIn and I don't really know what to do. I post once a week, and things like that, and I'm not winning any business. I don't know why. So
Well,
let's keep a conversation about that if we could.
yeah, you brought up a really good point. It's people know about LinkedIn,
Yeah.
but they're not utilizing it. And
No.
I think this is where everybody is at a certain point. So I originally signed up for LinkedIn back in 2009.
Yeah.
The beta version, where it was invitation only, launched in 2001. It went full scale for anyone to sign up in 2002, and it's grown from there. There's about 900 million people now on the platform. So it's still one of the smallest of the social media platforms, even though it's one of the oldest platforms still around. But I started a profile in 2009. It collected dust for 4 years. But what people need to understand is the only reason why they are not using it, I would say there's 2 big reasons. Number one, the people that they're following on social media or taking advice from
Yeah.
never talk about it. They
No.
only talk about TikTok and YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, because those people are selling to those audiences,
Yeah.
and you will only do what you learn from someone else. So if, a top influencer that you're following doesn't have much of a LinkedIn presence, isn't on there at all, and is just kind of spending most of their time on those other platforms, guess what you're going to do? You're going to follow suit, and you're just going to use those platforms, and you're going to kind of leave LinkedIn behind. And I would say that the second biggest reason or thing that people aren't doing is, to your point, they don't know what to do. And the easiest trap that people fall into, Steve, is they start treating it like any other platform. So they start sharing their TikToks and their Instagram reels on there. They start sharing a lot of personal stuff on there, their kids, their husbands, their wives, their significant others. That's not what LinkedIn is for.
I agree.
LinkedIn has 2 purposes: to build a thriving network of business allies, and to win business with providing a service, a product, a good, a program, a course, consulting, coaching that's directed towards an ideal business network. So everybody has an ideal client or a power partner or business ally network to build. But here's the thing: if you're listening to this or watching this, and your ideal client is a business professional, they're spending most of their time on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Now, that is not to say that those business professionals are not on TikTok. They are. That they're not on Facebook. They are. And they're not on Instagram, because they are. But you have to think about, why are those business professionals on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok? It's not to win business, and it's not to network.
No.
It's to escape business and socialize on a personal level. So you're trying to win business on someone's personal time instead of their business time.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It does make total sense, yeah. And I hear all the time people telling me, well, I get LinkedIn, but I don't get Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, and you know, or you know, I don't think Facebook's for business and stuff like that, you know. But you know, I think as far as LinkedIn's concerned, you know, the biggest thing, certainly, you know, I don't know whether things are any different in the USA, but in the UK, it's, you know, I think there's about half the population. There's about 30 million out of the 60 million people that live here that are on LinkedIn, but the vast majority are just, you know, as you said, just gathering dust. You know, it's, you know, for me, I think the difference between what I do and what most people do is I put a lot of time and effort into it. I actually call it going to the LinkedIn gym. You know, if you want to build a muscle and you want to get fitter or lose weight, you got to go to the gym. You know, you need to be there on a regular basis. Going down there once a fortnight and spending 10 minutes doing a few arm curls, you know, ain't going to really get you anywhere. You might as well stay at home. And you know, that for me is I think a really important lesson, you know, putting the time in. And also, you know, I hear people say things to me like, well, you know, I'm on LinkedIn and I post on there every week, and that's pretty much all I'm doing. I can again, I'd be interested in your take on this, but you know, I've been posting every day, several times a day for years and years and years, and yet the amount of money or sales that I've made from posting, where somebody's seen my post and then called me or booked on a seminar, is fairly low. Where I would tend to win business is more when I'm commuting, as we say, on a networking basis, on a one-to-one. I love picking up the phone and calling people on LinkedIn, and you know, getting to know them. And one of my clients is really good at that. He wins all his business by just phoning people. He just goes, "Oh, hi, it's Mike here. We just connected on LinkedIn," and I always like to give people a quick call, because sometimes when you connect, you never hear from them again. So have you got a couple of minutes? And they nearly always go, yeah, sure, Mike, and they have a conversation, and sometimes that leads to sales. So, you know, it's all about, you know, I mean, you said at the beginning, one of the things I love to do is to communicate with people, and that for me is so incredibly important, I think, on LinkedIn. You know, it's in a way using old-fashioned marketing, you know, going to networking events, but using the modern, you know, digital platform to do it.
Well, it's a global networking event every single time you log
Yeah,
on, and that's
yeah,
the thing that people
yeah.
misunderstand. And the fact is that I use that muscle analogy as well, just because I come from the fitness background. So if any muscle that needs to be built is never done in a day. You know,
No,
you don't go to the gym once, do a bunch of arm curls, and walk out looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It doesn't
no,
work that way.
no,
It
no.
takes time, it takes consistency, it takes effort. It's
Yeah,
that compounded effect. So the analogy that I give people is treating LinkedIn like an investment. So when you are looking to make an investment, you need to make daily deposits, and you don't deposit just £1 one day and then overnight you have £1 million in your bank account. Like, that's just not how it works.
no.
You know, you deposit £1 a week, right? And it compounds over time with all the interest that builds.
Yeah,
LinkedIn is the same thing. You know,
yeah,
you have to consistently build your network of specific and crystal clear ideal potential clients and business allies. You have to reach out to people. That's the thing. People are waiting for people to reach out to you. Yes, you will have a handful of people over time that will reach out to you, but you have, it's sales and business growth is a contact sport. You got to
yeah.
contact people. You can't sit on that bench at a bus stop and wait for those people to reach out to you and fall from the sky. You're basically sitting at a bus stop that has no bus on that route anymore. So you're going to be waiting forever and nothing's going to change. So you do have to reach out and say hi. And it's not about selling and pitching people. It's, to your point, the example you gave with your client, Mike, it's reaching out to people to find out about each other's businesses, how you can serve one another, how there could be some overlap. Maybe there's a gap or a hole or a void in their business that you could fill with something that you offer that naturally comes up in conversation.
Yeah,
People just make the whole concept of sales, connecting, messaging very weird. And I will defend those people, because I will say, and I'm sure you've experienced this as well, that on a daily basis, we get those 18 paragraph long drunkalog verbal vomit messages from people that are trying to sell us and pitch us.
I was just gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
So well done. Yeah. It's so true, isn't it?
But in addition to that, when you're providing content on LinkedIn, the mistake that people make is they're like, well, I'm producing content, nothing's happening. But here's the thing. Every piece of content that you produce should do two things. It should educate your ideal target market on something that they need to know in relation to the shared business interest that you have with those people.
Yeah.
But it also, outside of educating, you need to inform them. So making them aware of maybe some changes in the business environment or the landscape of what's going on. Just like with me, I do a lot of LinkedIn education information. So, you know, I posted a poll this morning asking people if they were taking full advantage of LinkedIn Creator Mode and all its capabilities. And already 3 people commented on that poll. I'm not sure what all the capabilities are. You know, maybe I'm not. You know, can you teach me how? So what am I going to do? I'm going to jump on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, and I'm going to do a LinkedIn Live showing people the benefits and advantages to using LinkedIn Creator Mode. And all that does is, number one, it builds the know, like, and trust with your audience, because people don't hire or work with anyone that they don't know, like, and trust. And number two, it's positioning you as a person of value. That is what you want to do. I'm not asking people to pay me. I'm not asking people to hire me. I'm not asking for people to book a call. All I'm doing is pouring into them, because the natural thing that happens is people will walk across that bridge when they feel like, man, this person is taking the time. They're taking their own attention. They're giving me everything that I need to do to succeed without asking for anything back in return. I want to find out how this person works with them. So they're going to reach out to you, or they're going to go to your LinkedIn profile. They're going to find your calendar link, and they're going to schedule a call, just like you said. So a lot of the winning of the sales that go on LinkedIn, it's the long game approach, right? It's that investment approach. It's not going to happen quickly. And that's the thing. I always chuckle when people tell me, well, I've been trying to, you know, use LinkedIn for 3 months and it's not working, or I've tried it for the last year and nothing's happening, because it's not going to happen. You know, businesses don't necessarily grow and scale in 3 months or even 12 months. It's that 12, 24, 36 month mentality. It's the long game approach. Don't put a timetable on it. Don't say, well, if LinkedIn doesn't work after 8 months, I'm gone, and I'm going back to Facebook. That's not going to work.
The biggest problem, I think, in marketing, or the biggest thing that's difficult to understand, is timing, isn't it? It's like, right now, I don't need a solicitor, but tomorrow morning, when something goes wrong, it's like getting hold of one's the most important thing I need to do today. You know, and that's the case, I think, with lots of, you know, lots of people, and the issue with lots of marketing, and why consistency is king. It really is. You know, you can't expect, you know, if I do a post now on LinkedIn, how many people out of, you know, I got 10,000 contacts, more than most, less than some. But how many of those 10,000, A, are going to see it, and B, are going to need help from what I do right now? The answer is virtually none of them. But sooner or later, they probably all will. You know, there might be just a few of them. But do you know what? When you're talking there, I'm thinking, you and I are kindred spirits. We really are. You know, what you said there just so resonates with me. And yet, I, like you, I get people saying, would you like to connect? And I go, yes. And then, like, 1 second later, they've sent me an email that's that long, you know, and there's no way they've just done that. You know, it's just on autopilot. And
I said this, it's funny. I said that exact thing in my keynote yesterday. And the example I gave, I said, you know, by show of hands, you know, how many people have ever accepted a connection request from someone, and within 3 seconds you get an 18 paragraph long drunkalog verbal message, and everyone's hand went up. And I said, have you ever scratched your head and said, did I just connect with the world's fastest typer and I didn't realize it? And it's because people
AI is quick, but not that quick.
No, and because they're using an automated service that does it, and that is removing the most important and most crucial aspect to growing a business, and it's human connection. If if you outsource yourself from the relationship building aspect of building a business, you are going to go out of business. And I say that with full compassion, empathy, sympathy, and honesty. If
Yeah.
you outsource yourself and you don't want to talk to people anymore because it's too time consuming, then you may need to rethink what you're actually wanting to do for a living. Because I thrive on building connections and relationships, people. I love talking to people. I
Mhm.
am always happy to get on a call.
Yeah.
Now, I don't give up all my time to get on discovery calls. I look to book about 3 to 5 new calls per week so I can get to
Right.
know new people
Yeah.
because, again, I have a life to live and I also have businesses to run.
Yeah.
But still, at the level that my wife and I are in the size of our company and our business, I still make the time to each and every week talk to new people.
Yeah, yeah. I have a saying that, I've used for years, and that is the more people you speak to, the more money ends up in your bank. It's almost as simple as that. And speaking to people on LinkedIn, be it through LinkedIn, through your email, through calling them, through posting, through groups, through whatever means you're going to use, it's just absolutely essential. And whilst for me, I'm posting every day, that's not where I win business. But what that does is it opens up the opportunities, because when I do call them and I go, oh, hi, Steve Mills. Oh, Steve, I went to a networking event the other day, a Chamber of Commerce near where I live, and I had 4 people come up to me and went, you're Steve Mills, aren't you? And I went, yeah. They said, oh, hi, I've been reading your stuff on LinkedIn for ages, and that for me is so incredibly powerful, because one of the biggest problems most small businesses got is obscurity. Nobody's ever heard of us, within reason. We're not Nike or, Apple or Vodafone or whoever. We're
Yep.
not world famous. We're not even world famous within our little worlds. But, when we put effort in, we can, get known. And we're, again, I see people say, I'll say, what's your target market? And they'll say something like, well, it's hotels in the UK. I say, okay, so how many people you connected on LinkedIn? Oh, I don't really know. Oh, it's probably about 250. And I said, well, how many hotel owners are there in the UK? They go, oh, it's probably about 30,000, something like that. I said, well, here lies your problem.
Right.
You're marketing to 250 people. You need to grow that database,
Yep. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. So what would if I said to you, what are your top 3 or 4 tips for anybody on LinkedIn?
Well, I would say number one, we've kind of covered some of them.
Yeah.
Do not spam people.
No.
You get one shot at a great first impression.
Yeah.
So if you're going to connect with someone, just hit the connect button. Don't add a note. And if you're going to message them, just send them a very nice, genuine, authentic message where you're really looking to just network, because people are very skeptical about getting on the phone or a
Yeah.
Zoom with people because of them being oversold to and overpitched to.
Yeah.
So if you are going to really want to get to know someone on LinkedIn, just make sure you reach out to them in a very general and very genuine fashion, just looking to connect offline. Let's learn about each other's businesses, how we can serve each other, introductions that we can do. I would say that's the first big thing.
Yeah.
The second thing is look to build your network. You touched on this as well. Your net worth is in direct correlation to your network and vice versa.
Yeah.
So to the example that you gave at the Chamber of Commerce, you can't expect to build a sizable business off of 250 people.
No.
But if that person was to 10x their network and you now were marketing with and to 25,000 people, you can imagine what the compounded effect could take place from those numbers. So as I forementioned, make sure that when you are connecting with people, whether it be through the My Network area or using the search engine, make sure that your connections all fall into one of the 2 buckets that I mentioned, a potential ideal client or a business ally. You want your network fruitful. It's the quality people over the quantity of people, because the quality people will lead to the quantity of people. That's how it works. That's the second thing. And I would say the third and final thing is something that I touched on a little bit earlier: be a person of value. You know, just see if you committed to posting just 3 times a week on LinkedIn. You maybe did a very short one tip 30 to 60-second video on Monday. You did a poll question on Wednesday for some market research to find out some pain points or holes or gaps that your ideal clients in your network may have, that will then allow you to take that data and then write a post about it on Friday. Now you're in the forefront of what it means to be a content creator on LinkedIn. So really messaging people in a very genuine fashion where you're really looking to get to know them and not sell them, making sure that you're building your network fruitful, full of those ideal potential clients and business allies, but also produce value-added content, pour into people, give without expecting anything back in return. And when you take those 3 facets and you are extremely clear, but also consistent with those 3 things over time, I promise you, your business will grow.
Fantastic. That's a great tip. Great tips. Brilliant. Do you know what? I could sit and talk to you all day, I think, but we want to be respectful of your time and respectful of everybody's time listening. So we'll bring it towards the end of the interview today. If people want to find out more about you and what you do and how you can help them, what do they need to do?
Well, LinkedIn obviously is a great place to go. So you can just search Scott Aaron and I'll populate on there. The website that my wife and I have, our company, is called The Time to Grow. So if you just go to thetimetogrowcom, you can find out about our mastermind, our coaching, our consulting. But literally, if you just Google me, you'll find my YouTube channel, interviews, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on everything.
Load of free stuff.
What's that?
A load of free stuff.
A lot of free stuff. Yeah, I've had a podcast now, which obviously Steve is going to be on in the coming weeks. I'm approaching 525 episodes, and so there's a lot of really great information out there that people can learn from me. And you can also go to my personal website, which is scottaaron.net. And you can find out about me specifically. I have all my books on Amazon. You can search Scott Aaron on Amazon. You'll find my 3 LinkedIn books that are all available for either paperback or Kindle purchase. And, would love to serve and help you in any way that I can.
Fantastic. Thank you again for being here. I really appreciate it, and really looking forward to our next conversation together.
Me too,
thanks
Steve.
very much, everybody, for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you valued it. But mostly, I know I'm speaking on behalf of Scott and myself, we hope you use what you've learned to really grow your business. Thanks very much for listening.